All right, what's up? What's up? What's happening? What's happening? This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect today. And so today I want to get on this topic about why rape allegations should be taken seriously. There's a reason why rape allegations should be taken very seriously. Okay, multiple reasons why. Because one of those allegations could be involving children. And when there's children involved in the allegation, that's when it should be taken seriously. Absolutely seriously. Okay? Now let's play a scenario here. Let's say a woman goes on a date with a guy. All right? She meets this guy. He's very handsome, very nice looking or whatever. Or let's just say you go on a date with someone. And you do a background check on this person, right? You do a background check on this person. And in that background check, you find out that this person has a public record, right? Arrest records. All right. So when you do a background check, now you know when you get arrested and you be locked up, you know the charges that you get, it goes on public record. It goes on public records. Okay. So let's say the person got arrested for rape or sex trafficking or child molestation. Or let's say this person is currently going on trial, right? Well, they're waiting for their trial date to come up, and it has something to do with child molestation. Now, what would you do at the point when you look at the public records and you see that this person got all these charges, right? Whether it be sexual battery, child molestation, sex trafficking, anything of that nature. If somebody sees something on public record, should they continue on dating that individual? Should they move forward with a relationship with that person, even if that person has some type of allegation regarding to rape? Should they continue on moving forward with that person? Should they be skeptical at this point? Should they have some type of judgment at this point based on what they see on public records? I would like to think yes. I would say yes. Why would I say yes? There's a reason why I say yes. Because if you got that kind of allegation regard to rape, then I have to be concerned about my safety. And I have to be concerned about the safety of others around me, especially those that are children. If you got a record where you have assaulted somebody, meaning like, let's say if you was arrested several times for domestic violence, I would have to take that seriously, because if I'm in a relationship with a man who has been arrested for domestic violence and who has been accused of sexual assault, if I'm dating somebody, I would have to end that relationship with that person, because now I'm looking at my own safety and I'm looking at the safety of other people around me. I'm not going to turn the blind eye and say, oh, well, that's just sexual assault. Oh, that is rape. So I'll just throw that out the window and let that be. No, that's not how it goes. That's not how it should go. So now let's play another scenario. Let's say if a child came to you. Let's say a child came to an adult and said there was a grown-up that sexually violated them, that sexually molested them. And what you gonna say to that child? Well, we're just gonna wait till trial date comes, okay? No, you're not gonna tell that child that. You're gonna tell you what you're going to do is you're going to investigate. You're gonna approach and address that person who has been accused of touching on the child. That's what you're going to do. And what you're going to do is if the person that has been accused, you're going to remove them. You're going to say, all right, look, until there is further investigation, until there is trial date, you're not welcome to be around my children or my child. You're not welcome to be around my kid because my kid said that you touched on them. And at this point, I have to take that very seriously for my child's safety. So for my child's safety, I would have to get rid of you. You can't be around my kid until we go on trial about this and find out more evidence. You're not welcome around my kids. Because now at that point, that's logical. Why is that very logical? Because you're looking out for the safety of your child. Okay? You're trying to make sure that you're preventing the situation from ever happening again. So by taking that step further, right, by removing that person who has been accused of molesting children out of the premises of being around other kids, you have protected that child. And you have protected other children. Okay? So you got to treat that matter as something very serious. You can't just brush it off and say, well, I don't think so. Well, you know what? I don't think that person did that. Nah, he ain't doing that like that. You know, he can stick around. Okay, if he stick around or if that person sticks around your child, what is the possibility of chance that it can happen again? What's the possibility of chance that somebody else's child could be victimized? What's the possibility of chance? There's a strong possibility. So in order for it to not happen or even happen to someone else, remove the child out, remove that person out the picture until you can do further investigation, until you go to trial, until you go to court about it. That person should not remain in that child present until they can go to court and deal with those allegations. That makes sense. Okay? So the reason why I'm using these scenarios here as an example is to explain my point. Because I done got into a heated ass discussion with somebody, with an individual, and it got to the point that it resulted into arguments. It resulted into somebody getting their asses cussed out. All right. So I think the person did not get where I'm coming from on my position. When we talk about the situation with Polite, all right, because you know Polite is the hot topic, and many others. Polite has been recently arrested for child molestation. Okay, it's on public records. Now, we don't have all the information as to everything that happened or went down because we all wasn't there. The only people that was there to witness was Polite and the little girl that said that he did it, and the mother. All right. However, nobody has interviewed the mother, nor has anybody interviewed the child. Okay. Polite has spoke on it. He said, of course, he gonna say he ain't did it. Of course, he gonna say he ain't did nothing. But nobody interviewed the mother or child. No one has interviewed them. No one. All right. But what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the child. That's what I'm looking at is the child in this case. Okay. So it's not so much just about polite, it's about the child. This child is 14 years old. The child is 14 years old. The child is not 28. The child is not 21. The child is not 30 years old. The child is 14. So now, by her being 14, she's a teenager. She's a teenager. She's a teenager. Maybe people don't know. People may not realize that there is a thing called sex trafficking, right? Child sex trafficking is very common, especially. Just like adult sex trafficking. Just like adult sex trafficking. It's very common. It's a very common thing. And so it's something that has to be taken seriously. So when you have a 14-year-old child going to their parents or going to the authority and say somebody's touching them, that's when the red flag should be raised up. That's when people need to start asking questions. That's when people need to start being skeptical and have some type of judgment. All right? So by polite being the target, and this ain't the first time he's been accused of touching on children, okay? That's when people need to start to get more serious and say, okay, now, what's really going on here? Now, if it comes out, and I'm going to stand on my position again, if it comes out that this man did not do anything, or it was a misidentification, or it was a mishap, or a mistake on the evidence or whatever, then that's different. Then it could be like, okay, that's a different story. He didn't do anything. But he has not gone to trial yet. He has not gone to trial yet. So what are we going to do? We're going to sit here and say that the child is lying on this man, knowing that this happens to kids all the time? No. Because at this point, we don't know how this little girl feels. I'm focusing on the child. I'm not just looking at just polite. I'm looking at it from the child perspective. And like I said, I can understand. I can only imagine how that little girl feel. Because I was a child at one time. I was molested by a relative. And when you have somebody tell you that they don't believe that you're telling the truth, or you're telling a lie and all of this stuff, or there's not enough evidence, etc., it makes you feel some kind of way. So I'm looking at it from the eyes of that child. Of course, I can see it from the eyes of polite. And that's real easy. I can say, oh, polite didn't do that. That's real easy to say. But I'm seeing it from the eyes of the child. And I can only imagine what she's going through and what she has to endure, what she has to deal with. Now, I'm going to tell you people out there who may not understand how serious child molestation is. It's very serious. So for those of you who say, well, you got to look at this from a different perspective. You can't have your feelings on this. You can't have your own thoughts on this. You can't have your own belief on this. You can't. Who are you to say that? Who are you to tell somebody they cannot sit here and have their own beliefs about something? Yes, facts are very important, but at the end of the day, Before the facts come out, people still going to have their own judgment. People are still going to have their own skepticism. People are still going to have their own thoughts about something. People are going to have that. And you cannot tell somebody to put aside of their emotions either. You cannot do that. You have no place to tell somebody to put aside their emotion, especially if you have children of your own. If you have kids of your own and you hear about somebody else's kids being violated, yes, you're going to have some kind of feelings about that, because that could have been your child. That could have been your niece. That could have been your nephew. That could have been your little cousin. That could have been your little brother, your little sister. That could have been any of your kids. I had a grown man for trying to get at my daughter when she was 12. See? That could be anybody's children. And see, this is sad that now, we got to put aside our feelings, and we got to see this differently. We can't just have our emotion, and you can't do that. You can't tell somebody not to put their emotion into something like this. This is something serious. Now, they don't have to act on a violent manner, no, but they have the right to their feelings. They have a right to their feelings, man. So for me, I have a right to my feelings, because I'm seeing it from the eyes of that child. Now, if there's more evidence, again, if there's more evidence to show that this person has not committed such heinous crime or crime against any other individual, then it's time to fall back and humble and say, okay, I was wrong. But y'all got to quit doing that. And then again, this is why people don't want to speak up. This is why people don't want to speak up. This is why people don't want to say nothing. Because now they got to worry about excuse me, sorry about that. Because now they got to worry about people telling them they're lying. Instead of people saying, you know what? All right, let's go through the process of getting this rape kit. Let's go through the process of getting this child exam, and let's find out what's going on. We don't even know if there's a rape kit involved as of yet. We don't know. Now, only thing that I've heard so far was that they found DNA evidence of his semen on this girl, and there was something wrong with her mouth. That's all that I know. Okay. Now, they did say there was no penetration involved. According to the news, there was no penetration involved. But the thing is, you got to take this stuff seriously. And it's just so sad that people have to debate about stuff like this. This shouldn't even be a debate. This should be okay. Now it's time for us to bring more awareness about these kind of situations. Now it's time that we need to be more mindful who we bring our kids around, or who our kids come around, or or who our kids interact with. Now, this is where you got to bring more awareness. This shouldn't be that person is lying and Polite is a good brother. Okay, we can say that by a lot of people that we know. We can say that this person is a good person because how they appear to be to us. But behind closed doors, we don't know what they are to other people. We don't know how they living situation is in the household. We don't know. Yes, evidence is very important. Evidence is very important. But what y'all don't know is that evidence can also be tampered with too. Evidence can be tampered with. And then let's just say this. Let's just play another scenario. Let's just say if somebody like Polite or any other individual get off on a case like this, just because they get off doesn't necessarily mean that they have not committed the crime. I'm gonna say that again. Just because somebody can get off of a rape charge doesn't necessarily mean they have not committed the crime. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is, as long as you can pay a good lawyer to defend you and to be a good representative to you, you can get off. You can still have committed the crime. You can still be guilty of that crime, but those charges won't be held against you. They can drop those charges as long as you have a good lawyer. See, that's another thing that people are not looking at. That's another thing people are not looking at. And then there may be a reason why this girl is not speaking up. There may be a reason why the woman is not speaking up. Who knows? I believe maybe the reason why the little girl is probably not speaking up is because she's probably afraid. He probably done threatened her. He probably done told her, if you say this, thing, and other, this is what's going to happen. People do receive threat. People do receive threats. Now, on the flip side of that, you do got people that will make up lies about being raped, especially adult. You have adult women, not all of them, but you have those who have lied and said they were raped by somebody and come to find out they wasn't. They were just only making it up to get that person in trouble. That can happen. Okay? And those individuals, they need to be held accountable. They need to be charged for lying, because you're putting somebody's life in danger. Once you say that, once you make those kind of allegations, you put somebody's life in danger. If it comes out that you tell a lie, you putting people in danger. You're really putting folks in danger. And you have made it hard for people who are actual victims to even step forward and to tell their story or to share their testimonies. You have made it hard for them. You have made it hard for them. The only thing I'm saying is, don't be so quick to jump the gun and just say, well, I don't believe this child. I don't believe that child. I mean, you know, because I see so many people trying to defend Polite. And not really seeing it. Just think about it. This should be some time. This should be a time of awareness. This should be a time of awareness. This ain't the time to have personality worship going on. This is a time that people should be more aware and say, well, you know what? I have a child. And if somebody did that to my child, it's time to ask more questions and do investigation. This is a time as parents or as adults that you need to have these conversations with your kids. Enlighten them about certain individuals. Quit feeding them fairy tales about, oh, this a man's gonna protect you, or oh, this person is going to protect you, this person is going to be your friend. No, you gotta tell your kids the truth about what's going on in the world. You gotta let them know that everybody that is your kinfolk is not gonna always protect you. The people that's in your community is not gonna always protect you. So we're gonna talk critical thinking. We gotta start bringing those critical thinking and critical analysis to the kids. You know, and as women, we gotta start being more critical and being more careful who we surround ourselves with. We got to. So, and it's very detrimental. And I'm gonna say this for the record: it's very detrimental, especially when you having a conversation, especially when a guy you have a conversation with tells you as a woman that you can't just use your emotion. You need to put aside your emotion. You need to put aside your feelings and just deal with the logic, especially when it comes to something serious like this. That's detrimental. Because, for one, you don't know if that woman been raped. And by this woman being raped, she can understand the experience. She can understand, see where it's. She can understand what it's like to be violated. If she been violated as a child herself, or been a victim of sex trafficking, or anything like that, you can't sit here and tell her that she cannot have feelings or have emotion about it. Yes, she must use logic. Logic is very important, but she's entitled to her feelings as well, because it's something that touches home for her. It's something that she can relate to. It's something that she can understand. It's something that she can see. So it's very detrimental for anybody, especially a guy, telling a woman that, oh, you need to put aside your emotion, you need to put aside your feelings and just deal with it from the critical standpoint, this, thing, other. It's very detrimental. You just can't say it like that. You know what I'm saying? And you can't make somebody agree with you because you don't agree with the situation. You can't make somebody agree with you. You can't say, oh, well, you wrong for feeling this way. Oh, you wrong for being skeptical. Oh, you wrong for being judgmental. You can't say that because you don't know how that person sees. You don't understand why. Instead of just asking the person, well, why do you feel that way? Why do you see it that way? Have you went through that experience before? Have you went through that process of abuse? How do you feel about it? If you ask question and you ask the person why do they feel that way, then you may get a better response. But to tell them that they should not have feelings and use their emotions, and they just need to see things from a critical standpoint and be just more logical and not like put aside their emotion, you can't do that. You cannot do that. You can't do that to somebody who can relate to something like this, because it touches home for them. It touches home for them. It hit close to home. It hit close to home. So they understand, they get it. And they're going to be, if so, anybody that has experienced something like this, chances are they're going to see it from the eyes of the child. Because they know how it is. They know how it feels. Because it hit close to home for them. So it's going to be kind of hard to try to take away the feelings out of that type of situation. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard to do so. You're putting yourself in a fight. Then now you're going into a battle. And that's what has happened. When people do stuff like that or say stuff like this, now the person trying to make it, the person is going to feel like you're trying to make it seem like they're a villain. Like they are wrong for having certain type of feelings without even understanding their position, without understanding how they seeing it. Now it's okay to say, well, you know what? I disagree. I don't believe that this person may did it because I don't have enough evidence to verify that. Or I don't know if that person did it. So that's different if you say that. But if somebody said, well, I believe that person did it, like myself, I say I believe. You can't take that away from me. You can't say, well, belief is not facts. I know belief is not facts. I know belief is not facts. Okay? But I'm seeing it from the eyes of the child. So that's why I believe it to be true. I believe it to be true until it can be proven otherwise. And that's just what it is. From the wanting to be private about it to all the shame you feel and so many other things, frustrating when folks doubt you or make you out to be the bad one. Exactly. Exactly. And it said not to mention the trust issues that develop over time from the trauma and causes trust issues. Exactly. It causes about trust issue in relationship. It causes trust issue with people in general. It does. So for me, I'm one of those people. I have trust issues. I don't trust a lot of people. I become very skeptical of a lot of people. That's just me. That's just me. So again, I'm not knocking the concept of critical thinking because critical thinking is very important. But just know we're humans and we're going to have feelings and emotion about things as well, especially when it's something that is very serious. When it is something that's very serious, we're going to have feelings and emotions about it. So, again, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. As a matter of fact, if your child, just imagine your child go through that. Imagine your child coming and tell you, and the only thing you could tell them is that, oh, just use your critical thinking, just use your logic. Okay? Just put aside your emotions. That's not gonna help them. By you just saying, well, let's just use our critical thinking, let's just use our logic. That's not how that's gonna help that child. Because now you just kind of, to them, they thinking that, okay, you brushing it off. That's how people gonna look at it. They looking at it like you just brushing it off. You using that as an excuse to brush it off. Instead of saying, you know what, let's go and take action behind it. Let's find out more information. Or let me confront this person that did this to you. And if you're not comfortable with this person being around, I'll make sure that person don't come around you. I'll make sure that person doesn't come around you at all. I'll make sure that person don't come around your brothers, sisters. See, now you're protecting. But if you just sitting up there and you're not addressing nothing and you don't take any further action, and all you can say is, well, you know what? Let's just use critical thinking. Let's just use logic on this. And that's it. Or let's just kind of brush it off. When you do it like that, that becomes a problem. That becomes a problem. That becomes a problem when you just brush it off. Because now that child, at some point in time, that means that you're not going to deal with it right then and there. That means you're not going to deal with it right then and there. You're not going to handle that situation right then and there. This is where people need to start having more conversation about this. For some reason, we act like we scared to talk about this kind of stuff. We act like we scared to even just address it from the standpoint. Maybe it'll be easier. Maybe it'd be easier to have a conversation. Maybe it'll be easier. Maybe it'll be easier to have a conversation with people who were victims of these kind of situations and see it from their perspective. Maybe we should just maybe I should have a panel one day. Hopefully one day I'll have a panel where I could just have a conversation with people who have been a victim of child abuse, a victim of rape, a victim of molestation, a victim of sex trafficking, human trafficking. Maybe I should have people on here and have conversation with them and talk to them. Maybe, just maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe if I can have that conversation with those individuals, maybe if we can talk, maybe we can. Okay, well, you know what? You want to come on here and you want to talk real fast? All right, I'll put you on here. I'll put you on here. All right, so I just posted the link up. So maybe we just need to have this conversation with somebody who has been a victim, who has witnessed as a victim, and maybe we can hear from them. Okay, then, brother, we'll do it next time then. Yeah, maybe we need to have that conversation. You know, and it's just kind of sad that you know, people can antagonize you because you believe that somebody could have possibly done something just listen to what I'm saying. Okay, cool. No problem, Brother Gullah. No problem. But here's the thing. So people antagonize you because you believe something could be possibly true. People antagonize you because you believe something possibly could be true about what the individual have done, especially when it comes to a child. When it comes to a child. You can believe that. If you say, I believe this to possibly be true, I would have never thought in my years that I will be looked at as a villain because I believe something so serious like this about a child could possibly be true. So because I have my thoughts and my views on this, and I believe it to be true, I was made to look like a villain by a particular individual. I was made to look like a villain. I was made to look like a villain by a particular individual. I was made to look like a villain because I believe this evidence, I believe this whole thing to be true. And the reason why I believe it, not only I'm seeing it from the child perspective, but it's very common. Especially when we talk about in the conscious community, it is very common. It is very common in the conscious community. You got kids who being raped. You got people who's being molested. You got people who's in some type of cult. You got people who's a victim of domestic violence. So I believe this. I believe it to be true. But because I believe that I'm wrong, I'm too emotional. I'm not using critical thinking. I'm not using logic. I'm not using logic. I'm not using critical thinking. I'm just too emotional. I'm just too emotional because I believe something like this to be true. As if I'm not entitled to that. As if I'm not entitled to have my thought. You know, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't even know. I don't know. And this is why kids are not protected. This is one of the reasons why. This is one of the reasons why children don't feel protected. This is why people don't say nothing. This is why people can't move forward and address these kind of situations. This is why people don't like having conversation about this kind of stuff. Because this kind of thing takes place. This thing, because my thing is, because this type of situation take place, and by this situation taking place, oh my goodness, it's hard to move forward. It's hard to even have a discussion about this. It's hard to even have a conversation about this. It's hard. It's hard to have a conversation about this. It's hard for people to be able to open up and to talk about their experience. It's hard for people to open up and talk about their experience. It's really hard. It's really hard to open up and talk about these kind of experiences because here come the antagonism. Here come the antagonism. So I'm wrong for saying somebody could possibly be guilty of a crime they have committed a crime that is serious. So I'm wrong for saying that. I mean, this is according to an individual that I was getting into it with. I'm pretty much wrong for saying that this person could be possibly guilty of a serious crime. According to this individual, I could be wrong. I'm trying to figure it. I'm trying to find the logic. So I am wrong for believing that this person is possibly guilty of a crime that involves a child. I am wrong. Woo! I am wrong for believing that, right? I'm in wrong. I'm not entitled to my belief. Okay, so I'm not entitled to my belief. I'm not entitled to my thoughts. I'm not entitled to my opinion. I'm not entitled to that. I'm not entitled. I'm not entitled to. I'm supposed to jump on board with everybody else. I'm supposed to be on the bandwagon, right? I'm supposed to be on the bandwagon. Forget how the child might feel. Forget the child and forget seeing it in the eyes of the child. I'm supposed to just be on the bandwagon with everybody else. Whew. Make it make sense. I'm supposed to just jump on the bandwagon because this person say I'm supposed to use critical thinking and logic. And put aside your emotion, put aside your feelings. Just use your critical thinking and logic. In other words, just jump on the bandwagon with everybody else and forget about how the child might feel. That's the fucked up way of thinking. That's real fucked up. That's real fucked up. That's fucked up. That's fucked up right there. That is so fucked up. Forget how the child might feel. Forget how the child is dealing with these things. The child ain't here to defend herself. The child is not here to speak up because maybe she don't want to talk to the public, or maybe because whoever her lawyer might be, the lawyer might be telling her that, look, you can't go out into the public and speak about these situations, to the public side until trial comes up. I mean, because we supposed to use observation, right? Hold on, we use observation. We gotta use observation. Observation. So let's observe the child. Let's see how the child might feel. Where is that child? How is the child going about dealing with it? But no, you can't have speculation. You can't have your own beliefs about a person. You can't be skeptical, or you can't have your own judgment. You gotta jump on the bandwagon. Wow. What's so sad is how this affects things outside the bedroom, because males like the predator of this child exist. Men like myself who want to run daycares or school, we go through hell. That's sad. And then let me tell you what else makes it really sad. Hold on. Let me tell you what else makes it really sad. Don't let it be a little boy that has been sexually violated. Don't let it be a little boy, because now that matter is going to either get worse. Let a boy who become a grown man say that he was sexually violated as a child by an adult. Oh, once again, nobody's going to see it from his eyes. Nobody's going to see it from where he's coming from. Nobody's going to really hear what he got to say. Nobody's going to hear what he got to say. Oh, child. And then you want to know why boys don't want to come out and say nothing about what's going on. Oh, and then let's talk about the men getting raped in prison. Let's talk about the men getting raped in prison. Since we on this topic, men, they don't feel comfortable coming out and saying, hey, I done got raped by another man. Because either they going to get clowned on, or either nobody's going to believe them. And guess what? They got to deal with suicidal depression. Oh, boy. I mean, so much insensitivity. This is why I look at it. To me, this is insensitivity. This is the insensitivity. But I kind of got off the subject a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But getting back on the subject, anytime somebody who's a scam artist, who's a well-known scam artist in the community, although it's on public records, and he never got locked up for it, but it's on public records that he's been doing fraudulent shit. Now, if he doing fraudulent shit like that, scamming folks, got his own little organization, little cult, and now we got the allegation dealing with children. Who to say that he didn't do that? Who to say that it ain't a strong possibility that he did it? We're not looking at the people that's affected by this. We're not looking at the people that are affected by this. We're not looking at that. But you know what? Let me tell you who I blame. I blame the people that continuously support niggas like Polite and arrest these fuck niggas out here and these fuck bitches out here. I blame the people. Because why? Why continue to support people that you know that's doing fucked up shit in the community? Why continue to support a person that you know that got this rape allegation charges against them? Why continue to support them? Why? Just last night, I had a clown come on my post. Last night, I had a clown come on my post about the R. Kelly situation. About the 17-year-old, the lady got on the stand saying that she was 17 years old at the time that R. Kelly sexually abused her. People don't understand that about trials. Trials take years. It could take years and years to prosecute somebody of a crime. What R. Kelly was doing during that time period, he was doing this shit throughout his career. He was doing it for years. He was messing around with Aaliyah, and Aaliyah was 15 years old. And then according to the information, she was pregnant at one point. Or he got her pregnant. Which is why they end up getting married. So R. Kelly pretty much got in her head and said, well, let's just go ahead and get married. He was messing with the girl. He was using the marriage thing to cover up his sexual abuse with Aaliyah. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. Man, listen. And so he done violated other girls out there. He was getting away with this. So many of them was trying to speak out. They was trying to tell people what was going on. But because R. Kelly, it was famous, and he has a career, he's an R&B singer. Wasn't nobody trying to hear that shit. So now the allegation adds up and it adds up and it adds up and it adds up, and it takes a long time to get through all those allegations, through all those charges. These allegations, he been in and out the court system for almost 30 years. R. Kelly been in and out the court system for almost 30 years. Almost 30 years. This man been in and out the courts, been going through these trials. So because Polite is famous and he's very popular in the conscious community, and he's very popular with the celebrities, oh, he could have not done such a thing like that. Oh no, he couldn't do no thing like that. No. That couldn't be. No. Because y'all caught up on the fame of the person. You caught up on his fame. Nah, Polite couldn't do that like that. And then you got people around him that's keeping secrets. Oh boy. So I'm gonna stand on my position again. I believe he did it. I believe it until it can be proven otherwise. So if you want to say that I'm wrong for my beliefs and I'm wrong for saying in the public's eye that I believe that Polite have done something like this or commit a heinous crime, if you want to say I'm wrong, then okay, I'll be wrong. If you want to say that I'm wrong for believing that, I'll be wrong. If you say I'm wrong for putting it in the public's eye that Polite could have done something like that, or it's a strong possibility that he did, okay, I'll be wrong. I mean, it's allegation, but I believe that he allegedly have violated somebody's child. I believe it. I believe he allegedly did it. I'm sorry. I believe it. I believe it until it can be proven. So while the rest of y'all might want to be on the hush hush and y'all want to be quiet about it, while the rest of y'all say, you know what, I'm not going to say nothing, I'm not going to speak on that until the trial day comes, wooty woo, whatever. Okay, you do that. You be quiet. You can be quiet. But I hope you bring awareness to your children and to others about individuals around here, about certain people. I hope you bring that awareness. I hope you're educating your kids about child molestation and rape, and teaching them what they need to do when it comes down to a situation of somebody violating them. I hope that's what you're doing. I hope you having these conversations with your kids. If not, you better start doing so. Because if you don't, you're gonna wish you had. You're gonna wish you had this conversation with them. You're gonna wish you had the conversation. You're gonna wish you had talked with them about this. You're gonna wish you had. You're gonna wish. That's all I can say. You're going to wish you have this conversation. You're going to wish you had this conversation. All right. All right, so let me go ahead and bring somebody on here real quick. What's up, brother Bakari? How you doing?
Peace, Tiffany. How you doing, Queen?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for letting me on here. You know what? I agree with you 100. Everything you're saying, right? because it's amazing how so many men, they won't just, I won't even call them men, how so many males quick to jump to the protection of polite and treat a little child, 14-year-old, like she's nothing, right? And those would be the same people that would be holding her to talk with me. And those would be the same men, same males that would be telling me I'm wrong for protecting my daughter against that dude that tried to give her my daughter when she was 12 years old, because they don't believe it. I have no idea what it is with black men, how black men only want to try to stand up for black men. They keep this fake, what is it? This it's a hatred toward our women, and they don't care. I don't know what the problem is. Sister, I stand with you, and I wanted to let you know that I stand with you, and I honestly, I ain't gonna say it. I believe he did it, but I believe the evidence when they do a DNA test back in December, they don't put a warrant out for his arrest until the DNA test come back. You understand? So he turned himself in as soon as he found out about the DNA test back. Turn himself in. So now I'm going to say, do I believe he did it? Yeah, I believe he did it. Until they can show he didn't. And even if something happened, I don't know if the little girl changed her mind to talk in court. I don't know. But that still don't, regardless of what happened in court, it don't take away the fact of what the DNA test stated, his semen being on that little girl. That it don't care what happened. That fact does not change.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And that's where I stand on too. I feel like when they come out with the evidence to prove that there was no type of DNA that's conclusive to the situation that happened, or that he wasn't the person they did it, or that was a mistake or something. When they say that, then okay, I can say, well, I can stand on my position. I can say, okay, I'm wrong, and I'm sorry. I admit that I was wrong. But if there's not, but then again, what people don't understand how this law thing can work, especially when it comes to a lawyer. If as long as you got a good lawyer that's behind you, if you got a good lawyer behind you, and you pay that lawyer some money, regardless if that person is guilty or not of the crime, right? If that lawyer can represent that person very well and represent the case, then that person can walk off. That person can go freely. You know what I'm saying? As long as you have that lawyer that's behind you, if you got a good representative, and that's what people got to know. So if he has a good representative, right? Let's just say if he have a good representative and he gets off, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that he has not committed that crime necessarily. That does not mean that.
You are absolutely correct. If you got a good attorney, it doesn't make, you don't know what they have worked out with the other side. You understand? And when you mentioned him being a scammer, people want to deny that. But you can look up public record. There was a warrant for his arrest in Huntsville, Alabama for scamming.
Right, he got so many. It's so many on the records. It's so many. I mean, not just Alabama. I think one in California and somewhere in Ohio, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I know he tried to claim a business in Ohio that wasn't his. That didn't belong to him. It belonged to somebody else. But he tried to say it was his business. I think you remember that. I don't know if you remember hearing.
Yeah, when they were doing it,
they were somewhere in that construction area.
They were using containers to turn into apartment building. Turn into apartment. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And the guy came out and said he don't even know who Polite. He never heard of him.
Right, you see that.
But we will stand with foolishness. For some strange reason, we stand with foolishness all the time. And we don't, and then it can be somebody who's actually genuine and who have not done nothing. We ain't gonna stand with him because he's not a so-called celebrity. See, the worship of celebrities amongst our people in our neighborhood has gone from TV, music to now YouTube. So now they're worshiping YouTube celebrities. Too much celebrity worship going on amongst us, and that's why people like that who have a little celebrity, people gonna always stand with them just because they have a little celebrity, because they're known. You know, and when you spoke about those attorneys, right? I was a knucklehead when I was younger. I didn't do anything like that, but had I committed the crime? Did I? What they were accusing me of? Yeah, I was absolutely guilty, no doubt. Now,
Guilty of what?
what I did, okay, I don't like to talk, but I tell you, okay, breaking and entering with a loaded shot off with an attempt to kill.
You said breaking in with what?
Breaking and entering with a loaded shot off with attempt to kill.
Oh, wow.
When I was young, I was dumb. I went away from the way my mom and dad raised me. I was facing like 20 years, 25 years. I was guilty. But when you know folks and your family know folks, you can get off shit. And that's just the honest truth. That's how I was 19. This is my first time ever even mentioning this on YouTube. I said I wasn't gonna ever mention it, you know, because I don't want to make my my family name look bad. But I went away from the things that I was taught when I was younger, and you understand, but angry and all that. But because you're right, Gullah, it is a different crime. But I was agreeing with her point when she said, if you know somebody, if your attorneys, you understand, regardless, the proof can be right there, and you can be free. I don't have a record. I don't have a record at all. You're the first person to ever said this on YouTube now, but you know it is what it is.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm agreeing with your point.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you can't expect people to have the same viewpoint. You can't say, oh, well, what you gotta do is you just gotta deal with the critical thinking and just deal with the logic. I mean, yes, critical thinking and logic is important, but you just can't tell, oh, you just gotta deal with critical thinking. Just deal with the logic. Just put aside your emotion. Put aside your feelings. You can't say that, bro. Come on, man. You can't just tell somebody to put aside their feelings and emotion about something like this. You just gotta deal with the critical thinking, just logic behind this. You can't do that. That's not so. You can't do that. You can't. Until you have a conversation with people who actually been through it, then you will be able to have a better understanding why they feel the way they do about something.
And in that conning community, what they call the conscious community, but in that conning community, they're going to stand with them because they can potentially make money off of him. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, there's those I do. Yeah, there are those who are doing it. Yes, there are those who are doing it.
Yeah, you know, I saw a video last night or yesterday. I didn't even watch it. The guy put the name of the video, proof Polite could have possibly been set up. Okay. That's the whole goal, is to prove that Polite is. So that lets you know how we feel about pedophilia in our community. That's why our young girls don't speak up. Who's going to protect them? The men don't protect them. The men only want to try and protect other men. They only want to try and protect other men. They don't care about our women. But then they're mad when the woman called the police. We haven't put any trust in our women where they feel we're going to protect them. We haven't shown them we will protect them. And when there's something like this, our women need to be protected. But you know, he came up under that Malachi York guy. Look what he did. You know, and you find these people with these cults, just look at the stuff that they tend to do. That cult mentality. And not just go look at Jim Jones, what he did. Look at the guy in Waco, what he did. People with that cult mentality. If you start looking at all these people that ran these cults, damn, all of them did the same thing. All of them did the same thing. and people want to protect them. Personality worship, like you said. Polite is a smart guy. He's very smart. He does have a personality. He's charismatic. That Conan community could have done a whole lot because when a lot of black people was watching it at one time, they could have really they could have brought a lot of black people together. But instead, they wanted to create division and cause division and put people like this on a pedestal. You understand? And put people like this on a pedestal to elevate them because of their personality, right? And look what it has got them. I even heard people say Dr. Umar came out of the conscious community. Well, actually, they don't like Dr. Umar because Dr. Umar said he did a couple things for Sarnetta, but he said he was never part of the conscious community. That's why they didn't like Dr. Umar. He said he called it a conning community. He said it was a bunch of scammers and he didn't want to be a part of it. But that's why they didn't like him. That's why they would always do video talking negative about him. I don't know. But as black men, we got to do better.
You're right. You're right. You got to bring some more awareness. You do. You got to bring more awareness about these things, man. Like you just can't sweep this under the rug. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, you can't sweep it under the rug. You got to bring more awareness. Shout out to Brother Gully. He said, deeper than proving anything about him, they focus should be proved the minor was violated. He becomes secondary. I like how you said that. I can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. No, I was just saying I agree with that. Yeah, what he just said. What Gullah just said, I agree with that. Yeah.
That's right, exactly. You got to be able to prove the minor was violated and he becomes secondary. So again, we got to look at the minor. We got to look at the eyes of the minor. We can't just look at polite. Look at the eyes of the minor. Find out, investigate on her, get all the information, extract DNA, do some type of rape kit or something like that. But people don't think of it that way. I don't know.
Did you freeze or did I freeze? Somebody frozen. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what just happened, brother. I don't know what just happened. The connection just went out. Yeah, the connection just went out.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So here's this little booklet right here that I came across, and I want to show y'all real quick. So this booklet deals with sexual assault, legal institution. That's what it's called right here. And as we look at this book, it says, understand the legal system when your child has been sexually abused. All right. So going down, let's see, you see the table of content, introduction, emotional recovery, effects of a child's sexual abuse, who commits sexual abuse, and all of that good stuff. So I just happened to find it today. I was just happening to look around and I just seen this. So I just want to read something real fast. Let's see. It says introduction. It says a child sexual abuse occurs when a person engages in activity with a child to meet his or her own sexual needs. It is not a love relationship. Rather, the child is being used for the offender's sexual pleasure. Sexual offenders can be children, teenagers, or adults. They can be male or female and are typically not strangers to the child or his or her family. Boys and girls are both victimized. Because so many people do not report child sexual abuse, it's difficult to know how frequent it is. But most estimates are that 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 6 boys are sexually abused before they are 18 years old. And then it goes on to say, You are most likely reading this booklet because your child has been sexually abused. This may be a time full of hurling and bombarding emotions, possibly confusion, anger, frustration, helplessness, shock, loneliness, to name a few. All right. So it says when a child discloses sexual abuse, it may throw an entire family into crisis. You and your family may be well equipped to deal with it day-to-day problems. However, you may not be. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so so people just need to look into that information because it's just very important that we understand about legal system and how they go about dealing with the child. Yes, I was kicked off. I don't know what happened. I was kicked off. And you put we have to keep focus on the children. Adults in position will handle the more adult side of the conversation. Thanks. Let me go ahead and post that booklet up again.
Oh, can I say something else before I get off? Because I'm going to get off here. Can I say something else right quick?
Yeah, cool. Go ahead.
And I also want to say this, that the mother of that child who allowed that child to go to an after party or a club or whatever with Polite, if Polite is punished, she deserves the same punishment because she didn't even care. Because if you cared, you wouldn't have put your 14-year-old daughter in that position. She's not off the hook either. She needs
Absolutely.
punishment.
Absolutely. And I strongly agree. You know, as a mother, you're supposed to be protecting your child. Why in the hell would you let a grown ass man take your 14-year-old child to a damn after party in the first place? Why? Why are you letting your 14-year-old child go to an after party? Now you put your child in that predicament.
Yep. And she's the cause of it. Now you want to wonder, was she part of it? Was her daughter for sale? So the thing is much deeper than Polite in it's showing how our man is and what we should be doing. And like you say, these conversations need to be held. But it also shows us as a people, right? The position, the men and the women. Because if you're gonna get Polite, you're gonna get her. Because like I just said, and like you said, why we put in an adult situation going to an adult party at age 14 years old? So now you got to wonder what's truly been going on, you know? What's been going on? So yeah, but I'm gonna listen offline. I got some stuff to take care of, but I'm gonna listen to you while I handle my business.
All right, then. Thank you, brother, for coming through.
Well, thank you for letting me on. Peace to the chat.
All right, peace. You take it easy. All right, so is that too many folks being their children's friend, buddy, versus being their parent and protector? You know, you done hit the nail on the coffin today, Gullah. You done hit the nail on the coffin. You right. That's another problem. You can't be your best friend. It's nothing wrong with having a good relationship with your children, but also be there to protect your kids as well. Let me see if this book, you asked the question. Never seen that book. Is it federal based or state based? You know what? Let me go ahead and look that up. I'm glad that you asked the question. Okay, so down here it says this material was reprinted and updated through the generous support of the Governor's Office of Crime Control Prevention under grant number SASP 2016-1701. This project was originally supported with a Family Division Family Services Special Project Grant from the Maryland Administrative Office of the Courts, Department of the Family Administration. MCASA also would like to extend its thanks to the Maryland Legal Services Corporation for its generous support of our work. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, that's coming from the state. So that came out the state of Maryland. That came out the state of Maryland. But it's still, it's still important to read some booklets like that. Let me see if I can find one in Georgia where I'm at. Okay, so I do have one for the state of Georgia. Okay. All right, so this one is called Georgia Child Sexual Abuse Exploitation Prevention Technical Assistance Resource Guide. Okay, so here's the resource guide um, from the state of Georgia. Let's see if they got the one for federal. Okay, I can't find the one for federal. Trying to see if they got a booklet. Okay, so I don't know if they got any booklet about that, but okay, so I I don't think they got any booklet for it. But anyways, I try to find it. I might have to try to find it later. But yeah, it's important, go through counseling, go through therapy and all of that to, get that situation taken care of, man, because this is something serious. Bond as teacher on a higher scale than just friendship. This is why we love the Big Mama figure so much once upon a time. Absolutely. Yeah, Big Mama meant a lot. She really meant a whole lot. She surely did. She meant a lot. She really did. She meant a lot. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here, you guys. I just had to let off the steam. So I had to let off the steam, but I hope you guys have a good one and be safe. And then until next time, I will reconnect with you guys later. So may peace and power and elevation be to all of you. And thank you all for tuning in. This your girl Tiffany. I'm logging off. Peace.